So the next big piece of the puzzle on the E36, now it's all been primed, is the paintwork. And here we have the paint that is going to go on this car. And here we have an exact car with the exact colour of what the E36 is going, which is obviously Land Rover, Range Rover, Santorini black, which I'm really looking forward to sticking on the E36. So you'd all know, big Land Rover fan, big Range Rover fan, and I basically love everything about the Land Rover. I wanted to keep the car black because obviously we're going to be putting a livery on it, and I thought, why not put a Santorini black on, which in this sunshine that's currently out today, it looks absolutely epic. So if I spin the camera around, we have my E36, which has currently all been primed, and all the panels are ready to be sanded down. And here we have the Range Rover Sport Svr, which is in the exact black my E36 would go in. Granted, it's probably not going to be as nice of a paint finish as this, and obviously it's got a lot of carbon on it, which looks absolutely epic. But hopefully, over the next week, we can get all the parts on the E36 looking like this, which I'm really excited to do. So this is the paint to hand. We've got let's try not to drop it. So we've got Land Rover Santorini black. We've got 3 litres of it. Hopefully that'll be enough for this car. So application used before 11th of March 2024. That is not good. Hopefully it will still be all right. So I've only just seen that actually, so hopefully this paintwork will be all right. I'll have to speak to Charlie, who I got the paint off, but I'm sure it will be fine. If not, we'll have to get some more Santorini black on order, which is not ideal because that probably is one of the most expensive parts of the paintwork, or of the paintwork process. But this is the colour that the E36 will be going, and I'm really looking forward to finally getting this car painted. What I'm going to do now is get this E36 sanded down properly, get it all prepped, and then we can finally get 2 layers of this paint on, and then it will be ready to lacquer. So it's finally starting to feel like the car is making good progress. Finally feels like we're actually getting somewhere with it, and hopefully after this week, over the next 7 days, we can finally get the paintwork on, the lacquer on, and we can finally start putting all the parts together. Obviously we've got a really nice week this week. The weather's looking absolutely bliss, so hopefully we can make some good progress over this week whilst the weather is like what it is.
After editing this video, I've realised that the paint hasn't got an expiry date. The date that was on the can was actually the date that the paint was made, so hopefully there is nothing to worry about and the paint will be absolutely fine. I cannot wait to paint this car in the Santorini black. It's going to look mega. As you can see in the sun there, it looks amazing. The metallic finish is going to look unreal. I've just got to make sure I do a good job, otherwise it's going to look naff. As you would have seen, I've already sanded down this shell of the car, so that was all sanded down with 500 grit sandpaper. Here I've started to do the doors, so just had, I think it was 2 doors at the time in this video left to do. I think I'd done the other 2 doors, so they're all being sanded down. I did have a slight distraction when I was sanding down the doors, so Stormy Dog come down to say hello, to see what I was getting up to, and to keep an eye on the progress on the car because it has been going on for far too long. I was actually distracted for a fair bit of time with Stormy, but then I managed to crack on with the doors. So now the car is all sanded, I can actually crack on with the big piece of the puzzle, and that is the paintwork. So, big day today.
Car is being painted at last, so I will be getting the first, well actually I won't be getting the first layers of paint on, I'll be getting the whole lot done, because I was speaking to Charlie this morning at restoration and refinishing, and I was just going to do the black today and then get it lacquered tomorrow, but he has advised that I get it all done in one hit. Apparently it's a lot better to have the 2 layers of base coat done and then do the lacquer straight away. So today, these bits, we're all going to get painted. I'm literally just going to try and smash out everything on the car today, and then we can get it all fitted back up properly over the next couple of days when I get a bit more time. So I'm going to start with the 2 doors. Unfortunately, if I spin the camera around, I wanted to try and hang the doors up on the gazebo, but it's just not possible because the doors obviously weigh quite a bit. But I just need to wipe all these down. I blew it off with the compressor. I just need to wipe it down with panel wipe to get all the dust off, because obviously I gave it one quick wipe over, but it's still quite dusty. And then we've got this piece here, so I'm going to start with the grille and then move on to the 2 doors, and I need to do the other side of the doors as well because they all need to be painted. So I'm just going to try and crack on today. I'll probably just time-lapse most of it and then just let you know how I get on with the first couple of layers, and then like I said, we'll just crack on with the rest of it. I'll do these 2 doors, do the next 2 doors, and then we'll literally just send it straight on from there. I've been out this morning to buy a new spray gun for the lacquer, so hopefully we'll crack on with that. And I've realised as well, the thinners that I was using for the primer was actually gum wash thinners, not paint thinners. So hopefully that's not going to cause any issues down the line, but we've sent it on now anyway. So, but yeah, let's get the first layer of paint done on these and let's see what it comes up like in a minute. I'm going to do 2 layers of base coat and then we'll crack straight on with 2 layers of lacquer as well. Before I get started with paint, I need to get it mixed up. So I've got the paint in hand. If I spin the camera around. So we've got a couple of measuring jugs which I've had to steal from the house, along with some spoons. So Jasmine, if you're watching, sorry, I've also had to take some spoons as well. But yeah, that's to mix the paint and the lacquer with, and obviously I've got the thinners. So this is the actual thinners that I've got for the paint, so hopefully this stuff should be better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically do a 2-to-1 ratio with this, stick it straight in the spray gun and hope for the best. I'm hoping this is quite a straightforward process. Obviously the primer seemed to be quite thick, but hopefully this part is straightforward. Obviously the only issue I've got, I can't hang up the doors, which is a bit of a pain. So I'm going to have to do the front of the doors first and then do the inside of the doors after, which is a bit annoying, but we just have to send it on and hope for the best. And then obviously I've got the grill bit to do. So yeah, we'll get the first lot on and then we'll get it done twice and then we'll crack straight on with the lacquer. And then, yeah, we can move on with the rest of it. Just going to crack straight on. Let's have a look to see what this paint's like, mind. Ooh, lovely stuff. Let's have a little look at that. Quite smells banging. There's no metallic in there. I presume it's probably needs a good mix. We'll do that first. And hopefully, she's good to go. He says. Oh, strong, mind. Oh, there's the metallic. There's the metallic. Should have probably put a mask on for this. Jesus. Oh, look at that. Let's get a little video, I'll chuck it up. Where's the light? Yeah, it looks really good. Nice metallic finish. Just going to mix it up a little bit more. We put in 300 mils of this. And then
There is definitely going to be a few professional body shop paint sprayers that are watching this and absolutely cringing the way that I'm just sending in this paint into a kitchen jug and hoping for the best and just mixing it in not a controlled environment. But you got to remember, myself as a beginner, I have no idea what I'm doing. I am literally just winging this and hoping for the best and hoping that the paint comes out alright. Bearing in mind, I am painting it in a gazebo.
get that straight in there. Oh, I'm excited. I cannot wait to get this on the car. Let's go send it. Quick panel wipe down on the car, on the panels just whilst we've been sat about, and then we'll get this straight on. So I'm going to give this another quick wipe down just whilst we've been messing about with the paint, and then we can hopefully start getting the first layers of paint on, which I'm absolutely buzzing about. So like I said, get all this off and then we'll crack straight on. But hopefully we can actually start making some good progress on the car today. Hopefully it doesn't come up crap. There's a fair bit of dust on this as well, to be fair. Just from sanding it down, which is one of those things. Obviously, because I can only do the tops whilst it's lent like this, because I can't actually hang them up. We'll get all the fronts done, and then we'll rest up against something, and then I'll do the backs properly, like the insides. This obviously I can just send 2 layers straight on, but obviously the door's slightly different. It would have been ideal if I could just hang them up with this, and I could just literally send it all straight on, but it's what it is. That's what happens when you're a beginner trying to paint a car.
I'll tell you what, it's definitely a good feeling to finally see some nice paintwork on some of these panels on this E36. I started off with the grille just to see how the paintwork come out like, and obviously I can adjust the pressure in the fan of the actual spray gun itself, and then I moved on to the doors. But it's definitely nice to see these panels in a nice gloss black. It has been dull for ages, obviously we sanded it down in the winter, so the car's been looking really tired, and so it's nice to see it actually start to take shape. But I suppose the big question is, will this car be ready for the Cars and Cuppers Nürburgring trip at the end of July? We're cutting it quite thin, the deadline is coming up quite fast, and it's not looking likely, so I really need to pull my finger out and crack on with this car and try and get it done. Otherwise this car will not be making it around the ring. But I know I keep saying it, but all we can do at this point is send it on and hope for the best, because that is our only option that we've got at this stage.
First layer is on. I am so bloody excited to see what this looks like when it's all dry. Hopefully it's all good. Hopefully there's not too much dust in it. I've had to move the compressor out, to be fair. Hopefully we don't have any issues with dust, but by the looks of it, so far so good. Let's wait 5-10 minutes and then we'll sand another layer on. This is one of the doors. I have managed to sort out a bit of a rig setup to hold the doors to make it a little bit easier, because I was finding when they was being laid flat on this, obviously it's just not ideal, but this is the door now. Just let it sit for a minute. It's had 2 coats of lacquer, and if you come onto this side, that is it all painted up and lacquered. Obviously it's going to look better on camera, but there are some imperfections. Like I say, it's going to need flattened back and polishing up, but so far I'm happy with that. This rig here actually does work really well, because I've basically been leaning it against this, but as you can see there, I've got like a hook that I've hooked it around, but it has sort of just marked it a little bit, but it's just about enough room. There you see that, but it has sort of caught it a little bit. But this is my makeshift setup, which is pretty mad. But now it's time to get this done, let this dry, and then we can move on to the boot and the bonnet. So this is the other door. As you can see in the sun, it's actually not looking too bad. There's a couple of imperfections in it. It is going to need to be sanded down and polished up, but so far so good. Got a couple of other little bits. Obviously got the wings, and then we got the grille. I've painted the grille already, so that's all done. Like I said, a couple of runs and stuff like that which need to sort out. The wings, the old ones, I bought these ages ago, and Charlie's already primed them up and stuff like that. So the old wings under here was all rusting out. So hopefully, obviously we don't have this problem with these because they're brand new. These just need to be painted, so that obviously these need to go from this colour. Obviously need to clean them down, obviously, because where they've been set up for so long, they're all a bit marked up and stuff like that. Well, not marked up, more just got dirty marks and watermarks and all that sort of stuff, but that needs to end up being somewhat like that. But as you can see in the sun, that metallic Santorini black looks absolutely unreal. So making really good progress this afternoon on this car. I've got a few bits left to do, a few of the loose bits, then we can actually crack on with the car. The biggest thing that was causing the most problems on the E36 before was the bonnet, where it was all peeling and stuff like that. Obviously it's all primed now, it's all sanded, and that is the next piece of the puzzle left to paint. This is said bonnet. As you see, it's all been sanded down now. I've even done inside here, admittedly not perfect, but I am going to paint inside there just because why not. I've done the same with the doors and stuff. So we rest that back there, watch the detailing van. So yeah, you might have remembered this was all sort of peeling, there was lacquer peeling, it was all looking pretty dull and stuff. So hopefully we can get this back to a nice finish. And that is the next piece to the puzzle. And then what else is there? So if we have a little look inside, we've just got the drying piece. So this door's obviously being left to dry, and then we've got the boot lid to do as well.
Next up in the spray booth of dreams, every body shop professional paint sprayer's dreams, or maybe not, was the bonnet, the wings and the boot lid. So the wings I was just painting on the outer face, and then the bonnet and the boot lid I was doing inside and out. So I was doing like the door shuts and stuff as well, just because I thought it'd be nice to have it all painted together, even though down the line doing the shell, doing the door shuts on the shell did actually bite me in the ass, which you'll have to see in another video. But yeah, so this was just a case of getting the last few bits done on the loose panels that I had left around. So definitely wanted to get some paint on the bonnet in the same day, just because the bonnet was one of them areas on the car that let it down the most. The rest of the paintwork, to be fair, on the car originally wasn't too bad. There was obviously a lot of rust and there was a lot of faded bits, but the bonnet was the area where there was paint peeling and all that sort of stuff, and it just looked horrendous. So it was definitely nice to see some layers of paint going down on the bonnet. It's the largest area on the car other than the shell, so it definitely took me a little bit of time to get done, but this was just a case of getting the first layer on, and then obviously I was going to leave it for a minute to do the second coat. But I was really happy with the progress in the booth, and to be fair, no matter what people say, the booth does work. Like, if you haven't got a unit to do it in, it does work. And obviously you do need a slight bit of ventilation because you're painting in a spray booth, which is a confined environment. Obviously I did have a face mask, but I did need some glasses, but it did sort of work. There wasn't too much wind, there wasn't too much dust, but obviously I'd end up wet sanding and polishing it anyway, even if there is dust in the lacquer. So yeah, you can watch me crack on with the rest of these panels, and then I'll give you an update or with what's next after that. So next up, we've got the two driver side doors. I've had a bit of a nightmare this morning with this one. I've dropped it and it's created this tiny little pinprick dent right on the door there, which is not ideal. Basically, I put it on this and it's actually slid off. So yeah, it's just one of them. We've got the M3 style front bumper to do. We've got the rear bumper to do. We've got the front splitter to do. And then, like I say, literally just get these two doors done. And then that should all be the last bits to do that are loose at the minute. Obviously get this all painted in here today, get it all lacquered, and then it's all good to go. Another nightmare I had this morning is I went to fill this up and then I've actually spilt it, so I've probably lost about 100 mils of paint, which is not ideal, but hopefully we should have enough. But yeah, let's get the paint on the car and then we can crack on with the rest of the day.
these bits have now been painted. Oh, the mask is coming down. Shame, because that dent is looking quite visible now, so that is literally just from this falling down earlier, which is not ideal. But it is what it is. It's one of them things, isn't it? It's all going to be wrapped and it's going to have a livery on it, so hopefully that will hide that. But yeah, I'm just going to wait for this to dry, and then literally we'll get the 2 layers of lacquer on. The bumper is looking really nice, so that's going to look awesome once it's all on the car. And then also done the splitter and done the rear bumper as well. But I've got the lacquer in here, so as soon as this is all dry, we'll get 2 layers of lacquer on all of this, and then obviously just have to turn these around, do the insides of the doors as well.